In the headlines, APC presidential candidate Bola Tinubu promises to transform Nigeria as ruling party flags off presidential campaign rally in Plateau State. Peter Obi replies Governor Soludo as Atiku unveils economic agenda in Lagos. Bandits abduct farmers in Katsina village, rustle their animals. And on the foreign scene, rescue operations continue after Nairobi building collapse. Hello and welcome to Trans TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Hello and welcome once again. We begin with politics, where the presidential candidate of the ruling All Progressives Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, says he won't allow the country to sink under his watch if elected president in 2023. Tinubu stated this at the official flag-off of the APC presidential campaign held at the Rwangpam Township Stadium, Jos, the Plateau State capital. The report.
The APC presidential candidate, while addressing party faithful, noted that prior to the 2015 election, the country was challenged in the areas of insecurity, poor economy, and lack of infrastructure for the teeming Nigerians, saying with the coming of President Muhammadu Buhari in 2015, he was able to renew hope for the country by bringing it back on track. He said before the 2015 election, about 17 local government areas were under the control of Boko Haram. With the emergence of Buhari as the president, he was able to dismantle the menace of Boko Haram in the northeast. According to Tinubu, he will build on the foundation laid by Buhari by improving security, infrastructures, oil exploration in the northeast, and opening of Lake Chad for agriculture and economic opportunities, adding that women and youth would no longer be neglected. Job opportunities would be created for all to ensuring improved security in the country.
If you, that's your life, dedicated to the job, was going to be taken. But Allah, who gave you the power, says you will be okay. Nigeria will be well, and our hope will renew again. Today, we are renewing that hope. Today, you have supervised a primary that is deemed as the most diligent, most free, most fair, and credible primary. And I am here. I am not the candidate. I am the candidate of our party. I am now free.
On his part, the APC national chairman of the party, Abdullahi Adamu, said Nigeria should no longer trust the PDP because of their provocative utterances that were hitting the polity. The chairman called on Nigerians to reflect on the performance of Tinubu and his running mate, Kashim Shettima, while as governors in Lagos and Borno respectively, adding that they will replicate their achievements across Nigeria.
Our party, a newcomer as it was, dislodged PDP from House of Rock after 16 years and 3 presidents. It points to the inevitable fact that incumbency has its place, that the right of a party to remain in office is not carved in stone. The incumbency confers no permanent advantage. It will not save us if we fail to work hard and do those things we ought to do to win the hearts and support the Nigerian electorate.
The event attracted party faithful from across the country.
The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, addressed the Lagos Business School Alumni Association, where he responded to questions regarding reviving the nation's economy and stabilizing the Naira. Atiku also shared his plans on addressing the rising foreign and local debt profile, among other issues.
By the time you have a stable exchange rate, you would have also encouraged, remittances from abroad. So there are a number of measures, which we believe if we implement, we will have a stable exchange rate. We will have also encouraged, our industries to produce enough to export, and we will also encourage, our Nigerian citizens in diaspora to remit more money. But now, because of the fluctuation in the rate of the foreign exchange, many of them have found it very, very difficult to remit, remittances from abroad, unless it has become absolutely necessary, to support their families.
And still talking politics, Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi has reacted to the strongly worded letter Anambra State Governor Charles Soludo wrote about his 2023 ambition. Obi on Tuesday at the 2022 Lagos Business School Alumni Conference said he did his little as governor of Anambra State, urging the incumbent governor to do his best in the state as an economics professor.
When you spread your investment, some will go up, some will come down, but overall, the company is still there, the company is still doing well, it's still part of a global chain and everything. I needed to explain it not because I'm defending comment by my brother. My brother is the brother, I remain my brother, we're very close, I remain prayerful for him. For other things which I didn't succeed, God has given him opportunity to do it and succeed. For me, yes. So if there's anything pending, governance you don't finish. People are still in government in America. So you stop where you stop, other people will continue from there. I don't look back. He's the governor of my state. He's my senior brother. He's even more intelligent because he's a professor. I'm a trader. So he knows more. So he will be able to do things better than I'm doing it.
Now to matters of security, where bandits strike Zakka town in Zakka district of Safana local government area of Katsina State on Tuesday evening. The terrorists attacked the farmers while working on their farms, abducted many and wrestled an unspecified number of domestic animals. Zakka town is a farming community in Katsina State and has suffered attacks by bandits in less than a year. Residents in this farming community are pained by the activities of the bandits and promise to come up with strategic solutions to rescue the victims. In a telephone chat with Trans TV's correspondent in Katsina, residents of the affected town said they are tired of activities of bandits. They said most of the residents have been rendered poor, with many displaced to other towns for safety. The Delta State Police Command says it has arrested a 42-year-old man for allegedly killing his wife, his girlfriend, as well as setting their hotel room on fire and masterminding his own kidnap. The State Commissioner of Police, Muhammad Ali, disclosed this when he briefed the press on the command's latest successes in crime fighting. The report.
Parading the suspect at the force headquarters, the police boss highlighted the force's achievements during the period under review. Of note are two separate murders where David Olare, a 42-year-old man and father of 3, allegedly murdered his wife after 13 years of marriage over a disagreement. Another suspect, Emmanuel Ojedebe, a 22-year-old, also allegedly murdered his girlfriend, suspected to be a commercial sex worker, because the victim took away his mobile phone. He was also accused of setting the hotel room they lodged in ablaze, ran away, and then masterminded his own kidnapped and extorted the sum of 4 million naira from his father. The other suspects involved in various crimes such as kidnapping, gun runners, armed robbers, and internet fraud, he said, will soon have their date in court.
Arrest of a suspected self-kidnapper, murder, and arson, following the murder of a lady named Peace, her surname unknown, suspected to be a commercial sex worker, who was killed by one Emmanuel. That of arrest of a suspect who murdered his wife. This happened precisely on the 2nd of this month, When DPO Ozoro received a distress call, so the DPO swiftly mobilized his men who broke into the apartment and discovered that the victim was murdered.
And he heard me. As he heard me, so I push her. So the way I push her, so I push her and she fell off, and he used her head to hit at the burglary proof.
She stole my phone and my clothes, then I took it back and took her phone too. Then we got into an argument and I stabbed her.
Are Mohammed Ali also debunked rumors of his alleged kidnap in Nasarawa State as reported on social media days ago and warned against fake news.
A misguided and mischievous criminal element from somewhere unleashed this information into the social media and said CP Nasarawa was kidnapped and my picture was attached there. I was perplexed and I felt thoroughly embarrassed by that information. But to God be the glory, we are on their trail.
He assured that the command will leave no stone unturned at ensuring that criminal activities are reduced to the barest minimum in the state under his watch.
And a 3-year-old girl, Lydia Aztiom, who got missing about 3 weeks ago and was rescued from a dry well in Jos after 3 days of intense search, has been found dead after she disappeared again. She was earlier declared missing by her family on Thursday, October 27th, after she disappeared while playing with other kids in the compound in Ungwenyashi area of Tudunwada community in Jos North local government area of Plateau State. The report.
3-year-old Lydia came from Kwara State to Jos about a month ago with her mother and brother to visit her aunt who reside at Tudunwada. Her initial disappearance happened when she was playing outdoors with her brother and cousins who were on midterm break when she vanished into the thin air. While the community was yet to recover from the shock of her first disappearance, she again disappeared after a week and a few days. But this time, she wasn't found alive. Lydia's mother, Hannah, said she is still in shock over the incident, adding that before her daughter's disappearance, the second time, they shared happy moments together.
It happened on Thursday. I got back from work around after 5. So when I got inside, I met my daughter here with her siblings. They were playing. When she saw me, she was so excited and she hugged me. I carried her and she was checking all over my body and saying, "Mommy, are you okay?" And I said, "Yes." She said, "Do you miss me?" I said, "Yes." Then I dropped her. We went to our own room.
What happened, honestly, we felt bad. A young lady like this, we miss her. Just 3 years, baby girl. When she fell down inside the well, we all confused in this compound. All of us contemplate, is it somebody that threw her inside? Or she's just walking, she fell down, we don't know.
This is the second time. The first one is almost 1 week, then the Conan for the second time. The other one is outside the compound, that is well, the neighboring house there. And the second one that she's late now, the small girl of 3 years inside the compound. This one that happened that she's late now is inside the compound there. So my suggestion or advice, this is not an honorary something. My advice within people that they reside inside the compound is such they safe inside the compound.
Meanwhile, most people in the community believe there is something odd about the incident, pointing out that there is every need for proper investigation to unravel the mystery.
So thus on Trust TV News Update, still ahead. An Islamic cleric explains will implementation. Details of this and more after the break. Stay with us.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now let's recap our top stories. APC presidential candidate Bola Tinubu promises to transform Nigeria as ruling party flags off presidential campaign rally in Plateau State. And Peter Obi replies Governor Soludo as Atiku unveils economic agenda in Lagos. And moving on to other news now, to legislative matters, the House of Representatives is set to host a national summit on tertiary education reform on the 22nd and 23rd of November 2022. Speaker of the House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila disclosed this during his welcome address upon resumption of plenary sessions after a one-month break to enable budget defense of ministries, departments and agencies. Gbajabiamila explained that the summit, which aims at meeting the legislative agenda of the House, is an opportunity to begin the long overdue national conversation about the future of public tertiary institutions in Nigeria. On the 2023 Appropriations Bill, the Speaker said the committees of the House have been working on it in ensuring the final budget serves the needs of the Nigerian people and meets the development objectives of communities across the country.
The presentations and submissions will inform the policy recommendations of the summit and be published in a journal for policy action and academic reference. So far, public interest both within and outside Nigeria, as far-flung as Oxford University, has been very impressive. We have received several memoranda, many interests from people within and outside the country. The most consequential decisions we make in government are those that will ensure the vast population of young people in our country are educated and adequately equipped to participate productively in the modern global economy. Legislators are also working to ensure that, in line with the reforms of the 9th Assembly, we have a final bill ready for the presidential assent before the end of the year.
Meanwhile, the House received for approval 3 separate correspondences from President Muhammadu Buhari. These were read on the floor by the Speaker, Gbajabiamila, and included the transmission of the Federal Capital Territory 2022 statutory budget proposal, submission of the 2021 and 2022 budget estimates of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, and the transmission of the Code of Conduct Bureau and Tribunal Bill 2022, and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria Alteration Bill 2022. The Nasarawa State University Kefi branch of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has called on Governor Abdullahi Sule to fulfill commitments he made to the union. Chairman of the union, Samuel Alu, made the call at a press briefing held at the university in Kefi. Abubakar Abdullahi sent in the report as presented from our studio.
According to the Nasarawa State University Kefi ASU chairman, the union had on July 2022 presented to the public the state of affairs of university, which prompted the state governor to make certain public commitments that were conveyed to the union in writing. He said upon the presentation, the state governor Abdullahi Sule promised to take over the responsibility of full payment of salaries of the university staff starting from August 2022 with an immediate release of 200 million naira out of the 1 billion naira owed the lecturers to pay part of outstanding earned academic allowances arrears and pronounce a monthly payment of 20 million naira for mainstreaming of earned allowance. He, however, explained that to date, the governor has not fulfilled the commitments he made to ASU.
In 2020, there was a condition for taking over the full salary from government that there has to be data capturing. That time we were on strike, ASU could not. Then after the strike, as soon as the strike was suspended, we went and did our data capture way back in 2020. This is 2 years plus. Up to now, even when he eventually agreed to say he was going to start taking over the book, it was premised on a certain condition that we suspend a national strike.
He said even before the commencement of the suspended ASU national strike, the branch was about to embark on a local strike, but due to the promise by the governor, the local wing put it on hold.
It is worrisome that we have a situation like this. As you are aware, we have already kickstarted the process of industrial action. If not for the national strike that was declared in February, by now we will have gone very, very much far. I want to put on record that this Friday, the zone is paying a visit to engage with the university administration and possibly the council of the university to, as a matter of fact, fulfill all righteousness.
He called on well-meaning Nigerians within and outside the state to prevail on the governor to fulfill his promises to the university and ASU by effecting the pronounced payments, as doing so will guarantee continuous industrial harmony in the university.
Now, a will is a legal declaration of a person's wishes regarding the disposal of his or her property or estate after death. Although the Quran has its position on how the properties of a deceased person should be shared, there are, however, concerns over the inability of beneficiaries to implement the will. Ibrahim Ismail explains the position of Islam on wills in this report.
According to Sheikh Aliyu Hamari, the Deputy Chief Imam of Gombe Central Mosque, will is a declaration of gift which comes into effect after the death of a testator. He speaks on the significance of will in Islam.
It has legal basis in both the Holy Quran and the Hadith of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as in Quran 2 verse 240, that is Surah Al-Baqarah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is commanding those that are dying to leave at least a 1 year bequest maintenance for their wives. And in a hadith reported by Al-Bukhari on the authority of Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam paid him a visit when he was ill at Mecca. He asked the Prophet that he will give, since he has only one daughter, he don't have any legal heir except his one daughter, and he has huge wealth. He asks whether he can give as charity to third of his estate. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said no. He said, what of half? The Prophet said no. He said, what of 1/3? The Prophet said, even though 1/3 is quite enough, it's more than enough, but you can make a bequest of not more than 1/3 of your estate.
The Islamic scholar said there are limitations to what people can do while making their wills, as he explained the demarcation between a will and inheritance.
So you cannot make a bequest for any among these 17 legal heirs. However, if you make a bequest in favor of them, that bequest can be rectified by the other legal heirs. We are calling it ultra vires bequest. If the rest legal heirs has assented to the ultra vires bequest, then it is valid.
Trust TV speaks to some respondents in Gombe on their understanding of will.
Mutanen da kama wadda muka sani su gaskiya sun fi mu rike wasiha idan an ce a bar abu ko kuma idan an ce ga yadda za a yi.
Old generation execute the will as stipulated, but these days heirs don't settle the debts left by their loved ones because people are greedy.
Will is very important in our life, also in our religion, because after you pass away, you're going to make things easier to your family.
The deputy chief imam of Gombe Central Mosque therefore urged judges to settle debts and execute wills of the dead before sharing estate as inheritance. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
And now for a look at the foreign scene, where a residential building under construction has collapsed on Tuesday in Kenya's capital, Nairobi. Construction workers are feared trapped under the rubble, and rescue operations have begun. According to witnesses, some people who were injured during the collapse are being treated in a nearby hospital. In 2015, 8 buildings collapsed in Kenya, killing 15 people. An audit by the National Construction Authority found that 58% of the buildings in Nairobi were unfit for living. And in sports, Super Eagles head coach Jose Santos Peseiro has the full complement of invited players as 3-time African champions Nigeria get set for what could be a fiery international friendly with Portugal in Lisbon on Thursday. Thursday's encounter at the 50,000 capacity Estadio Jose Avalade in Lisbon is the first ever full international between both countries, and it promises fireworks, with Portugal heading to the FIFA World Cup finals in Qatar the following day, and Nigeria eager to breed a new crop of frontliners after narrowly failing to make the train to Qatar. Top scorer Victor Osimhen is out injured, but Peseiro can still call on fire Belgium-based Onuachu, the nifty Dessers, the dependable Moses Simon, France-based Murphy, and Italy-based winger Lukman. And that wraps up Trust TV News Update for this hour. Don't forget, you can subscribe to watch us live on YouTube and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.